If you care at all about Warriors head coach Steve Kerr, you'll probably notice he's feeling much better this year than this time last year, with his back seemingly no longer torturing him. Caring, however, seems to be a problem for his players at the moment. Kerr said as much after his team lost by 20 to the Pacers in Indianapolis last night, saying caring in general was the problem. Kerr also tossed in an "I'm embarrassed" and a "pathetic," while Kevin Durant disagreed with his coach's assessment, and so went the dance between unmotivated talent and coach attempting to press the proper late-season buttons. But this feels like more than angry lip service from Kerr, because there's real reason to be concerned if you're a fan of the Warriors. The common refrain when Steph Curry went down with an MCL injury that'll likely keep him out through the first round of the playoffs at least, was that no one's going to feel sorry for the Dubs just because they have 3 other All-Stars still, including arguably the league's most gifted scorer in Durant. That sentiment is occasionally taken a step further, with some suggesting the Warriors can win a title without Curry at all. Really? What has this group shown it can do without the 2-time MVP? They've gone 9-5 without Curry in games the other 3 All-Stars played, with most numbers showing they're a slightly above average team in those games. Does that instill much confidence even against a team like the T-Wolves in the first round with Jimmy Butler back, or against a Pelicans team with Anthony Davis? Last season, the Warriors won 15 of 16 to end the regular season, most of that without Durant. Their 2015 title season saw them win 16 of 18 at the end. After last night, the Warriors have lost 5 of 9 and have 1 win streak longer than 7 games all season. Yes, injuries have severely stalled the team, but have any opinions really moved? People still consider the Warriors favorites to win it all as long as Curry returns in the postseason. And that's largely because, as KD worded it earlier this month, Steph is the system here. And without him, Durant relies far too much on isolation, and Klay Thompson doesn't get the same quality looks he normally gets. But who cares, right? These are meaningless games and meaningless words from their coach, right? I'm not so sure. At the very least, Kerr would like to see his team locked in to something other than the number 2 seed, that is. T-Mac, what's your reaction to KD and Kerr disagreeing about the Warriors' struggles right now?
To me, this seems like a vulnerable team, and I've been saying this all season long. No, they will not win a championship if they don't have Steph Curry. But this team, it seems like they haven't been playing with a sense of urgency. With KD saying that he disagrees with his coach, that the effort was there. I mean, you lost by 20.
Isn't that more of a problem if the effort was there and you still lost this way?
That is problematic to me. Like, if you feel like your effort was there and you lost to the Indiana Pacers by 20 this late in the season where you guys are supposed to be rolling right now, getting ready for a tough Western Conference roll, right, then this is very problematic.
And Scotty, aren't they actually saying the same thing? When KD says they came out with a better strategy, I'm going to go ahead and say that wasn't a shot at Steve Kerr, right? But he says being more aggressive. Isn't that effort? Isn't he basically agreeing with Steve Kerr?
Well, I think he is, and I think there's a fine line between the disagreement that they're having. I think Steve is trying to get that push out of his team, knowing that they're going into the playoffs. He's feeling a little nervous. From a player standpoint, you want the season to end and you want to start the playoffs. And you take a look at a team like Indiana, these type of teams start to play better in this late part of the season, whereas the other teams are starting to slack a little bit, starting to focus a little bit on the playoffs. So, you know, I understand KD's standpoint. He wanted to give the Indiana Pacers a little bit of credit because he knew that they came out with a better game plan to play against them.
And for me,
early in the season.
I have to agree with, Steve Kerr on this and disagree with KD in this sense, because if they had the effort there, I mean, there's no way that, Indiana will beat this team by 20 points. No, not at all. So I think these guys are mentally, they're just not there. They're ready for the playoffs because this was a meaningless game for them. They're locked in the number 2 seed. They're not even planning for anything. So KD may felt like the energy was there, the effort was there, but it wasn't.
Well, I think you got to give Indiana Pacers credit.
Oh, of course.
They are an NBA team. They're capable of beating any team in this league, and that just happened to be one of those nights where they had a great night.
But this late in the season, though,
with that kind of lack of effort.
Good teams this late in the season start to look over their opponents, especially a team like Indiana, who they feel that they're much better than them.
Yeah.
They're not focusing. They're not getting their rest. They're not preparing as well as they would if they were playing against a Houston Rocket team. So you start to look down the road, but it's just a part of a long season. I think really what you have to start to worry about is this team going to be playing like this in the playoffs?
Right.
I don't think that.